into the heart of action. Welcome to Sport Hub, where passion meets unparalleled excitement.
Mainu, oh, what a goal! The MMA champion!
Get set for the adrenaline rush of a lifetime as we bring to you the hottest highlight, the biggest stories, interviews, and the most thrilling moment from the world of sport. No matter what your favorite sport is, we've got you covered. From football to basketball, tennis, boxing, Formula One, and everything in between, we bring you the best from around the globe. Join us every Monday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Wednesday and Friday, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on High Impact Television on Nicontat 42 degree East. Sports Hub, the heart of action.
Welcome to the high side of life. Join us every day at Times at 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
I just want to be yeah.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio, 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Hello and welcome. The show is on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube and on X. I am Vivian Oguche. On the program, we discuss the actions, inactions of government, ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as business and health affairs that shape our worldview. The program also encapsulates personalities and institutions that make decisions that affect the lives of people one way or the other. And then we also avail you, the listener, to make your contributions. Now, Nigeria has long been seen as a prime example of the curse for the oil wealth. However, the country experienced significant economic growth for more than a decade in the 21st century, largely fueled by non-oil sectors. This suggests that Nigeria's main development challenge lies not in the oil curse, but in achieving economic diversification beyond oil. The tech and creative sectors have emerged as key drivers of this diversification effort, with the information and communications technology (ICT) sector contributing 15.97% to Nigeria's GDP in the third quarter of 2023 and 19.78% in the second quarter of 2024, according to Naira Matrix. Now, these sectors are driving job creation and innovations through hubs, startups, and entrepreneurs. Now, despite these growth challenges, which remains, including infrastructure deficits, funding issues, and regulatory obstacles, the crucial question is how Nigeria's tech creatives can position themselves to lead the next phase of economic transformation. The phone line is open, 0700 1021 1021. You can send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. We are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X, High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on High Impact TV and Facebook at High Impact Studios and High Impact on NICOMSAT 42 degree East. We'll be right back after this short break.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Wake up! Get ready to start your day off right with the most exciting breakfast show.
Join us every weekday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. for the best mix of news updates, weather forecasts, trending stories, and fun.
Oh, yeah.
Our dynamic hosts, Sarah Owusu Ansa, Olumide Shokoya, and Vivian Oguche will keep you entertained and informed with the latest updates, trending topics, and hilarious banter.
Play exciting games, win amazing prizes, and enjoy special guest interviews. So set your alarm clocks and tune into High Impact TV for the ultimate breakfast show experience.
Don't miss out on the fun. The Breakfast Cafe, starting your day off right.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now. High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back. The show is on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. We are live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. You can also watch us live on Facebook at High Impact Studios and High Impact TV on NICOMSAT 42 degree East. To join the discussion, you can call 0700 1021 1021 or you can send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. The topic of the day is economic diversification, a look at Nigeria's tech creative sector. And joining us right now is Ozo Uche, and he is, let's see, wow, Ozo Uche is the Associate Provost, O2 Academy and filmmaker. Ozo Uche, you are welcome aboard this morning.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Wow.
Thanks for having me.
So you see, it's interesting, yeah? You have there's a name. You have a very, very interesting name here. My producer says you are also known as the creative nerd. When did you acquire that name? Was it in school or when you became a creative person?
I would say when I discovered the real me. I mean, joking, it's something I always hear on social media, or I see it as a meme. It's just sometimes it's good to allow a child grow up before you give the child a name. So you hear things like success is not successful. Why did they name success and childless? If success was not going to be successful. So I tell people actually that my best name is Uche, or my real name is the Creative Nerd. So when I discovered that I have a thing for everything and anything creativity. I became a very, very big creative enthusiast. Meaning cut across every sector of creativity. I kind of always have a know-how of one or two things amongst that place. I mean, growing up it was difficult to do, but when it comes to creativity, I just find it very easy to do. And that bettered me. Since then, I've just been living a creative life, if I can put it that way.
Interesting. Now, something you said that really struck a nerve was that when you discovered the real you, that was when you picked up that name, CreativeNet. It means that parents shouldn't impose on their children who to be or what to be in life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in that narrative. I mean, that's why in advanced countries, the Montessori system allows for a child to evolve, being that from nursery, kindergarten stages, they have analytical tools that you can use to discover if a child is more towards the left side of the brain or more towards the right side of the brain. Being it, the right side of the brain is more creative, while the left side of the brain is more analytical. So guys that are in the banking industry, the guys that are in accounting and the rest of them, you see them, they sway more towards the left side of the brain, while the guys that are more creative move towards the right side of the brain. So you have tools that you can help you discover your child's real personality. You said the personality is formed at 5, and what is happening around the child is what makes the child become. But deep within, you discover that the real you is inside of you. It's not somewhere. It's not it's not in some place. It's not at the time. Because some people say the real me is in the future. No, the real you is inside of you. And when you can really speak to the inside of you, you can create from inside outward. And that way you have to create something that is really that lasts long. I mean, you see a lot with the content creators we have right now. A lot of them discover these things from inside of them, and they just pushing it out to the world. That way, they're living the best life. They tell you do what you love. You never work a day. So that's what most of them are doing now, and it's beautiful to see.
Wow. This is the perfect conversation we've laid for our discussion today, which is actually focused on economic diversification, a look at Nigeria's tech and creative sector. And you are the perfect man for the job, I can tell you that. So this is my first...
thank you.
This is my first question. How significant is the role of the tech and creative industries in Nigeria's efforts to diversify its economy away from oil?
Okay, I love this question, being that I recently tuned into content. It happens annually on the 1st of October every year. So, and I was listening to one of the speakers, and then he talked about how Nigeria even got into this whole situation we are in now. And I found very deep facts and understanding from that point. If you play back to the pre-oil time, before we discovered oil, Nigeria was doing agriculture heavily and many other forms of exports, although we're earning our main source from. And then when we discovered oil, and I think it was the First or the Second World War that made some countries stop selling oil to America, and America had to come to Africa to start buying oil. And then they came into Nigeria and started buying oil from Nigeria. It was just something we discovered, and then they found it and started buying a lot of large chunks because there was scarcity somewhere else as economics is demand and supply. Once there's scarcity, the demand will go up, supply will increase, and then so at that time, because the whole long story short, at that time, Nigerians now moved away from our primary source to our secondary source because the secondary source was paying in Gen Z terms. Secondary source was giving. So the then head of state made a statement that the problem with Nigeria is not money.
It's how to spend it.
The problem is how to spend it. Yeah. So that was where that line came from. I mean, there was a chunk of inflow. So with that, every other sector just started to die off. forgetting that even as human, not even talk about the emotion, even as human, they always advise that you have multiple streams of income. Meaning that you can't be dependent on just one source because anything can happen at any point. And then we all put our energy in oil. Yes, oil is clean, but imagine if we have oil clean and every other sector working as well. I mean, Nigeria is so blessed. We can go the route of Dubai and start doing tourism, and we can go back to agriculture and start exporting heavily. I mean, there are some foreign countries that even depend totally on our export. But the thing is that our farmers cannot create large scale. So you have some of them doing some illegal things, even export to themselves. So that aside, bringing it forward now, the creative space and the tech space have created an alternate source of income for Nigeria, and it's a beautiful thing. We've seen in the recent years the rise of content creators. We've seen a huge chunk of money coming in from YouTube, from other social media platforms, and coming into the country from these platforms, and then in foreign currency, not even in local currency, to show you as much as we are exporting our talent, there's a very huge prospect in that space that we can really, really latch into. Not just the content creators, our music, Afrobeat is doing so well around the world. I mean, in a World Cup, we played Calm Down, Rema and Selena Gomez. They played it live in a World Cup. Before now, we never hear anything that has to do with Africa. But Afrobeat to the world already, and then there's very huge chunk coming in from them. Let me leave the creative side a little bit, which is my house. Let me go to the tech space. So the tech space, similar. We have seen this recent rise in fintech, financial technology. And fintech is just one of many things that can happen. We still have what we call the medical technology. We still have what we call the agri technology. We still have what we call the educational technology or education technology. So there's edutech, there's agri-tech, there's also meditech beyond fintech. We've just seen what a snapshot of what fintech can do, how we've been able to create millions of jobs for Nigerians, how people have been able to diversify, and people can really, really, really like, even onto the, before now, the traditional even cater to a segment of the Nigerian populace, meaning that we call them the unbanked. It's a very large chunk. The guys that don't use smartphones, that cannot use an app, that just use maybe an Android phone. Some of them don't even have phones. So how would they do banking? Before now, it was an agent. You know what we call our journal, where people contribute money. Yeah. So we had local agents. Yeah, we had local agents in the market that help them keep money and help them exchange, go to the, even to the ATM and all of those things. But now with fintech, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of expansion and blow up in that space. I remember the recent banking industry issue that many people could not transfer. And then we had a fintech that came in to solve that problem. And a lot of people with that started opening accounts. So I would say the potential in summary, potential is huge, very, very huge. And I can't wait for our government to really spot this and then act into every way and manner that we can.
Very well said, because the time is going to come when I'm going to be asking you to make recommendations. But you remember that time where before former President Olusegun Obasanjo made it possible for most people to have a mobile phone, how it was practically totally difficult for people to be able to communicate easily with each other. You know, so this is my question, right? What factors do you think, I don't know if this one, you know, the availability of mobile phones now, I don't know if it's a factor, but let me not put words into your mouth. But this is my question. What factors do you think have contributed to the recent growth of the ICT sector with its rising GDP contribution in 2023 and 2024?
Okay, so I mean, if we look at it before now, a lot of people will think I mean, it's good to define what the ICT sector is, so everybody has a deeper understanding of what we are addressing. So when we talk about the ICT sector, before now we think it's just telecom and mobile phones, making calls and all of that. Even a lot of telecom companies, like very big one, the one that is yellow. They're evolving into becoming.
You're being very wise. You don't want to call brands, and I like that. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm being very deliberate about that. So they've evolved into becoming a tech company. I mean, before now, everybody was voice. Everybody was making voice calls. I mean, it started with voice calls and then per minute billing. Then we moved over to per second. They realized that data was taking over. Then people could make calls on their phones and not even use the regular telecoms route. So most of them have discovered that they need to evolve into being a tech company and not just being a regular telecoms company that aids communication. So I have read something somewhere. Let me quickly read it. According to NairaLand, this was from Nairametrics rather. It says, according to NBS data, the ICT sector contributed to 12.5. No, the recent one. Let me tell you more recent one. It's about 16.something% growth at 2023, and this year it seems a larger chunk. And at the end of the year, by the time this report comes out, we show that it's way more bigger. So now the ICT sector comprises of telecom, information services, publishing, motion picture, which is film, sound recording, music production, broadcasting. So this is how big the ICT sector is. It's even way beyond telecom. So you even moved over to saying Netflix came into Nigeria a couple of years ago to that pushing locally made movies. I mean, this is something that the government would have done. And there was a time they did it to Napa, and I'm sure funds were misappropriated again. I won't say it's just the government, because sometimes those monies leave the main source but don't get down to the right purpose of it. So every Nigerian is involved. I won't just say it's the government, and every Nigerian is involved at every state and level.
You know, so, okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead. I was going to say, you mentioned TINAPA, and what you did was just to open a can of worms. That was a huge project that would have just taken Nigeria. But it was abandoned. But do you see a possibility of it being revived?
Yes, I mean, there's nothing that cannot be replicated. Dangote just showed us that what people claim is almost impossible is still possible.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just money. He had money and then he was frustrated at the point because some regulators didn't let him do what he was supposed to do. So, I mean, it has to be a very, very collaborative thing. Not just the money bit. It also needs to expand into regulators accepting these things, Nigerians being open-minded to receive these things and then obtain it. I remember was in Netflix before Netflix. Netflix now came in and pumped in a lot of money into that space, and then we saw the quality of Nigerian movies grow. I mean, technically we are getting it, and then I'm beginning. I even love the kind of stories that are being told now. I mean, we're going back to history to bring our own Nigerian stories and then begin to retell them to the world. These are items that we can export. We cannot tell a modern-day society story that is very influenced by the American culture, the Americans. They will see that as a very adulterated thing. But you see all of these stories that we tell, those are the stories that can really, really win awards. I mean, I saw something somewhere, the wall of Benin was so large. There was this story I saw. I'm still trying to even inquire and read more about it. So the wall of Benin was so large that I can't remember how many square meters I read, but it was so large that it was equated to the wall of China. And there are many stories about the wall of China, but there's no story about the wall of Benin. So there are too many stories that we can still create and then export and also help these industries, huge ICT as a code industry, grow and also become. So moving just one aspect, broadcast, talk about broadcast in its own sense. Yes, it can also really, really increase. What are we doing in the broadcast space? Recently, I saw a lady speaking about involving more ladies in broadcast sports. I mean, it's becoming large, and we should not leave it alone to just the guys that are doing YouTube to do this thing. There are some other structures that are already formalized, their businesses and brands that are already big enough that can just divert into that space and then become.
Very well said. You are. Yes, go ahead before I ask my next question.
Yes. So finally, some of the factors that are really, really helped this thing is local talent has really brought in foreign investment. They've seen the potential that is in this country. I mean, foreigners and a lot of investors outside of the country have seen a lot of huge potentials in this country that our government has not even really capitalized on. And they've capitalized, they've done it themselves. The reference I made was Netflix. Netflix came in and said, okay, we're going to push it. I mean, Prime came in at the time and left because they couldn't equate Netflix at the point that Netflix had already brought that in.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
very well said. Very well said. You are an award-winning film director yourself, right? And congratulations,
yes,
by the way. But this is my question. Yes, this is my question to you, though. When you were starting, was it very difficult? That was part A of my question. Part B then will now be, in what ways are startups and innovative hubs contributing to job creation and economic development within the tech creative space?
Okay, so difficult, yeah. I mean, is there anything that is not difficult? It was easy, everybody would be doing it. Yeah. So, yeah, it was quite a daunting task. I mean, coming in that I started pushing for it when, I mean, filmmaking is a very, very, very capital-intensive project to jump on. And especially in a space where you have very little funds going around in that space. I spoke with some guys that came into Nigeria from China to check in the Nigerian film industry. I mean, this was before COVID. And because of COVID, a lot of things complicated their plans. They came in and they started inquiring. And then we compared budgets. Average budget is making Nigerian cinemas at then was around 40-50 million. That's at 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? This 40-50 million at then was the marketing budget of an average Asian movie. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let me do some math here.
Okay.
The left side of my brain for a bit.
All right.
So, the marketing piece of an entire budget for a film is supposed to be 5 to 10% of the entire budget.
Okay.
Now, that 5 to 10% is what we use in Nigeria to make an entire film.
Oh my gosh.
Then that just showed me how small. You might think Nollywood is quite big, but it's actually very small. It's a very, very small segment. We'd also look at the state of in China, for example, they have about 11,000 screens in their cinemas. Right in Nigeria, we have about maybe 65 screens.
Wow.
And we have about 10 cinemas. So you see the very huge gap in it. I mean, the sector still has a very huge growth potential, but if nothing is done about it, it wouldn't evolve into that space so we can begin to make very large.
All right. That's very illuminating what you just said. But you also are a job creator, right? And so I asked the B part of my question to you is the tech space, has it really contributed to creating to job creation? Would you say in Nigeria and Africa at large?
Japanese sponsored me, got some things in. I got some other clients to do in the topic and everything. We collaborated with a school, Nigerian Institute of Journalism, who all came together and then made a film. And we put the film out. There were a lot of disappointments along the way. Some people didn't show up and all of these things. But I don't want to dive into that. That's the serious. So when we went on to make the film, I said, okay, let me just even begin to put this film out and see how people respond. The first thought was big. I mean, we did the screening and we were very happy about it. We were very excited. Because they've seen horror movies and they don't get scared. That they saw this one and they were terrified because it was a very local Nigerian story. Remember the story of how Boarding House, we had terror in Boarding House.
Yeah.
Scary moment. Yeah, so it was time to be people and a lot of people got scared. So I decided to push it further. I tweeted into some festivals locally and internationally. And then it won across plenty categories. The one in South Africa was recognized in Ghana, one in France, and several other places. And locally it also picked up about several awards. Then Content 22, I was also nominated to in African Magic Viewers Choice Award. And I saw the huge potential in really telling our own stories. That even just pushed me and pushed me to say, there's a huge narrative in that thing. Because it didn't happen here. It was a time in our life in the 90s and the early 2000s when we had terrifying and horrific stories happening within the boarding house. Yeah. And then
I remember those boarding house stories. I mean, I used to have one because I went to boarding schools. They say there's a lady called Lady Coin that at night you will hear her walking around with her high heels. But you know, we need to take a short break now. But when we come back, I'm going to be asking you to make recommendations. I'd also want to pick your brains a little. This is one of the questions I'll be asking. How do you see the future of Nigeria's tech creative sector in driving the next phase of the country's economic transformation? But that will be after this short break. Stay with us.
On record.
Every word matters.
Tease your taste buds from a world of delectable choices. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back. It's on record where every word matters on High Impact 102.1 FM. You can watch us live on Facebook at High Impact Studios. We are also live on YouTube, High Impact 102.1 FM, and on X at High Impact 102.1 FM. We're still discussing economic diversification, and the focus is on the look at Nigeria's tech creative sector, which was all Uche. Uche, thank you so much. You have been fantastic on the show so far. So thank you again.
I appreciate you. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. So this is the question I was going to ask you rather. How do you see the future of Nigeria's tech creative sector in driving the next phase of the country's economic transformation?
I mean, we've moved beyond the part of potential into it becoming that's the future. I mean, that's where government will discover and then begin to put in efforts to see how we can begin to really, really do very large things for the industry. America today has a very insignificant lower class. So the chunk of America's citizens are sitting in the middle class, as against Nigeria that we have about 3% or 5%, 3 to 5% in the upper class, and then the lower class has the larger chunk. There's almost a non-existent middle class. So they're talking in Nigeria is either you are rich or you are poor.
Yeah.
They are not in the middle.
And that is not right. It is not right.
It's not right. It's not right for a country that has, I mean, God so blessed Nigeria. God so blessed. Even beyond natural resources, down to talent. You know where talented Nigerians are. You know how resilient we are.
Very.
I mean, Nigerians go everywhere in the world and we make very huge impact, except in Nigeria. So what's actually wrong?
You know.
Okay, good.
You said what's actually wrong. So what you're doing is to push me to ask you the next question. You just actually took the words right out of my mouth. So what, as a creative yourself, what is wrong? What are the most significant challenges facing Nigeria's tech and creative industries? And the B part is, how can they be addressed?
Yeah, so I've asked myself this question very early, and actually, because I have a personal principle that I don't talk about a problem that I don't have a solution over.
Say that again.
If I don't talk about a problem that I don't have a solution over. If I don't have a solution for a particular problem, I wouldn't say anything about it.
All right.
So it helps me be less entitled and more disciplined to thinking of solutions, because what the world needs are solution providers.
Yes.
I asked myself, and then I got some few answers, because I said you just need to know what the future can be to get what the past is. So we've gone through several industrial revolutions. We've gone through. I think we're about to enter the truth, but we.
Are you there? Yeah, we lost you a little bit. But can you say that last statement all over again?
Okay, yes. So I was talking about the 4 different industrial revolutions that we have been through. And so I talked about the first industrial revolution is the coal industrial revolution, which happened in the 70s, 1760s. Yeah, then we have the second industrial revolution, which happened in the 1870s. The third happened in the 1960s, which is electronics and then nuclear physics and the rest of them. Now we're in the fourth, which is the internet and the renewable energy. And guess what? Africa played the back foot across every other industrial revolution, meaning that we followed. We're mostly exploited by foreign countries, and then we followed. But this industrial revolution of the internet and renewable energy, because is that everything is happening at the same time. And this is a time for Africa to catch up. This is a time for Nigeria to catch up. How do I mean? The internet is available to everybody at the same time. Others, there are things that people could hold and not show you what it was until you saw the output. But this time around, as it's happening in the internet, we are real time to what's happening, and we just need to capitalize in that space. So what can we do? Number one, we need policies from government to really, really encourage Nigerian creators and then tech startups. We are tired of hearing this brand is leaving Nigeria, that brand is leaving Nigeria, this business is leaving Nigeria. I mean, recently Twitter wanted to come into Africa, and they were considering Nigeria. Because of how hard it is to run business in Nigeria, they had to set it for Kenya and our neighbors, Ghana. So we don't want to have situations like that. We don't want to be a proxy. We want to be the first nation in Africa that would be, because Nigeria, we have a very large, our consumers alone can bring a company to set up a station in Nigeria. We are that large. But we don't, the country conducive for businesses to run. A lot of businesses to run out. All of these content creators are businesses. They are not just individuals. They are businesses because they contribute to the growth, the domestic product or produce of the country. So they are businesses themselves. What can we do to inspire them? So we can create policies that will save them and not frustrate them and not frustrate them. We can, number one, create an enabling environment. Number two, policies that will aid them. Liaise with regulatory bodies. Then create policies that will help them create much more. Create hubs that people can go in to create these things. Collaborate with, this way I will tell a little bit, collaborate with academies like O2 Academy Lagos to help Nigerians acquire skills that will help them push the cross-domestic product into the Nigerian market and our output and our produce at the end of the year. I mean, the first is skills, having the right skills. And number two, encourage them to build and then to do. How will we be able to push a lot of people out of being in the lower segment of the socioeconomic income?
You have 1 minute remaining.
But please go ahead.
Encouraging them. Number one.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
if you can wrap up this particular point in like 30 seconds, I'll appreciate it.
Yes, I was about to do that. So, in summary, number one, policies. Number two, enabling environment. And number three, training them with the right skills to help them become.
Very well said. You have been brilliant on the show today, and I'm hoping my producer will be able to work something out with you so that we would even have you live in the guest, not just on radio, but on TV one of these days. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So I have been talking with Ozo Uche, and we've been taking a look actually at Nigeria's tech creative sector. Until I come your way again, I am Vivian Oguche. Thanks to everyone that contributed to making the show a great success. Until I see you, bye for now.
On record.
Every word matters.